Minimalists.
So originally, I had a vision for this video about joy and happiness and how it pertains to minimalism. But given recent events, I recognize we're all going through a significant crisis and are now being forced to simplify our lives to combat this global pandemic. Obviously, like many others, I'm here in my home, sheltering in place for the foreseeable future. And a lot of my daily plans and routines have been put on hold, causing me to slow down and focus on myself and what truly matters in life. Now, there's nothing wrong with a little escapism here and there, but when the phone is dead and you've reached the end of Netflix and every 1,000-piece puzzle is finished, you'll find yourself in an empty room, all alone, and you'll ask yourself, am I happy?
Would you consider yourself happy?
Happy. Would I consider myself happy? I don't usually rate myself on the happiness scale. I would say that I have moments of happiness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I honestly feel very lucky. I feel very, very lucky. I mean, don't get us wrong, we fight. I love the life we've created, and you have your thing and I have my thing, and I think we join very well, and that makes me very happy.
Yeah.
That brings me happiness and joy.
I'm going on the search right now for joy, actually, and that requires so much self-reflection and getting to know myself, and there's actually effort and work that has to be put into discovering what makes you joyful. Whereas happiness, it's so easy to get that. It's like, I've always been under the impression that happiness for some reason is a very shallow feeling. I don't know where I got that idea from, but it just feels like it's something that externally it can satisfy you for a second and give you happiness. And so many people chase that, and I never really understood it because I knew it was such a fleeting feeling, and you can't get attached to that because it can come and go.
Now for the real question, guys. Alice is getting to the center of it. Are you truly happy?
No, I'm freaking miserable.
I
wish I had more stuff.
I think it's a bad question, personally. I think if we're all, I don't know. Actually, you answer that. Are you truly happy?
I'm happy with my miserable self.
I'm happy with my miserable self.
Yes.
A common pattern I see in listeners' questions is that achieving a minimalist lifestyle isn't enough. That minimalism alone will not lead to a life of contentment and joy. But what is joy?
Joy. Oh, that's such a good question. I think joy, it's this really childish internal satisfaction and awe of life.
The nice bubble feeling you get that, like, you feel like you're blushing, but you're not, but you maybe are, and you just serotonin levels, you just feel pumped.
I think for me, joy is like a state of being. Like, I don't know, it's contentness, you know, it's the moments that I can't expect to happen that bring me happiness, you know?
They say giving is living because you are living your best life when you're interacting with and contributing to the world around you. A person who is driven by joy instead of mere pleasure or happiness, makes it their life's mandate to bring joy to others. That is real living. Nearly all of life's peak experiences occur on the other side of contribution.
What do you think brings more joy to your life? Relationships or hobbies / dreams, ambitions?
Oh, ow. Well, that's a tough one. Tough one because my whole life I've existed 100%, have existed knowing that the most contentment, joy, and happiness and pleasure I can get is from achieving goals. That was like a 1,000% what I was chasing. And the last 2 years I realized how lonely that journey actually is. And I've been pursuing relationships and joy in the smaller things. And it doesn't actually come from the giant goals that I've been striving for.
Well, I think no, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, ideally, all of them are tied together. They're not. I think that's kind of like why this is nice for us. Is that I found somebody that all of those things can be together, like hobbies, ambitions, relationships. It fits, like we have something to connect on each thing.
Yeah.
Had this been like, say I'm an artist and, you are a financial investor or something like that. And it's just like, well, I got to do some improv or something. And you're like, what are you doing?
Since we've been involuntarily subjected to this form of societal minimalism and our superficial distractions aren't around to pacify us, it has stirred up a significant feeling of uncertainty. But let's not think of this time as a punishment or a prison sentence. Rather, a gift. A chance to strengthen relationships and focus on ourselves and our goals.
Both can exist at the same time. You can have joy and still feel like your freedom's been taken away from you. Both can exist. It's not one or the other. So I've had definitely periods and moments where I felt really bad about this, like this morning. Thankfully, my coach got me through it. And then I have moments where it's really good and I get, I'm very inspired that I have a chance for the first time in my life. And then you think about it and maybe it really is, for those of us that are not affected with our health, it could be the only time in history that we get to sit down and reflect. And I personally have this amazing moment in my life where I'm forced to sit down and self-reflect. And if my freedom wasn't taken away, I maybe would have found a different reason to go traveling instead of being like, no, who are you, Sorelle? What do you stand for? What is important to you? What bullshit story have you been carrying that you needed shed? Like, this is time for reinvention. This is change, and you can either embrace it or be sad and waste your time on social media.
But contentment arises not from a singular good or bad decision, but rather a series of good decisions over a protracted period of time. Contentment is a side effect of a well-lived life, a life in which your short-term actions align with your long-term values.
So what are you doing with this newfound time? Are you spending it dwelling on what could be? Or are you using it as an opportunity to look inward, strengthen relationships, pursue passions, and find joy in your life? That's it for today. Thanks for watching Unpacking Minimalism. In this series, we want to dig deeper into conversations from the Minimalist podcast and discover how these concepts can be directly applied in our daily lives. If you have any ideas for what we should unpack next, feel free to comment below. And remember, love people, use things. Thanks for watching.
The Minimalists.